Let's try that again. I was muted. I don't know why. Hi, I am Dr. Heather Kaiser. I am happy to be here with you for NCBOLD. And I'm glad that you found your way into this session, Creating with Canva. A couple of housekeeping things. You'll be able to leave comments in YouTube and I should be able to see them. So we should be able to do some interaction that way today. So that'll be good. I'm going to switch over here and give you a bit.ly and share my screen. So if you don't already have the NCBOLD app, you might want to get that to make sure that you can catch all the great sessions. So there's the link for that. It's bit.ly/NCBOLD721. And then let's move over to this. Okay. So you also, if this is your first session, you may not have the Performance Matters app. So you will need to get the Performance Matters app. And I want to just double check that everybody's hearing me good. So if you're able to leave a comment in the comment stream on YouTube, that would be awesome. I'm going to quickly put the link. This should go directly in the comment area also. So that is the link, should be popping up for the NCBOLD app. All right, so I'm hopeful that everybody's seeing those things, getting those things. There's, I think, just a limited little bit of information I can grab from YouTube while I'm presenting. So if you can leave me a comment, that'd be awesome. Where are you from? What school system? What's your role in education? And what's your experience, if any, with Canva? Hey, Christine, yay, you're here. I'm so glad you're here joining the session today too. So where are you joining from? What's your role in North Carolina education? What is it that you're hoping to glean from this session on Canva? Have you tried it out already? Did you use it with students already? Or have you just been playing with it on your own? So I'm real curious what our different experience levels are. So please do put those things in the chat. Christine, you're an ITF at Kitty Hawk. Ooh, that must be really a neat place to work, I imagine. I visited one time the Kitty Hawk area. It was pretty cool. Alrighty, so on screen, again, you've got the Performance Matters Now app. And let's see, you can get that at from the bit.ly NCBOLD 721 app. Okay, so you've really got to go to that app, and then you're going to be able to download from there the Performance Matters app, and that's how you're going to get your credit later on. So, hey, Jeanette, you're at Baldwin in 3rd grade. Baldwin here in Fayetteville, where I am. Cool. Angela, welcome from Croatoan. I don't ever say Croatoan right. I always want to say Croatoan because I've heard it that way in the past, so I'm sure I say it wrong. But great to have you here, and you've used Canva a little bit, so that's really cool. Angela, have you had the kids use it too, or have you just used it for your own flyers and logos? Curious about that. So I'm super excited about the platform that I am using. If you've never seen it before, you probably noticed that it says in YouTube that I'm using something called StreamYard. And of course, there's free versions and paid versions. And I'm using a paid version of it. But Angela, that is so cool that the kids have used it. And I'm going to just pop this up. So one of the things I love about StreamYard is I can click on your comments and I can pop them right to the screen. So Jeanette, thanks for taking my course on Facebook and welcome to another course with me. So I hope that it measures up to everything you're expecting and come to expect from something that I've done with you. All right, so super cool. Now let's see, I gotta just remember how to hide. Okay, there we go. So there's our app, and a little about me for those who don't know me. I do work in Cumberland County Schools, and I'm going to be working for the second year with our elementary online academy. So it's a school completely devoted to staying online. So as you can imagine, I'm really looking forward to ramping up my own Canva game and using it with students in some new ways. I want to get the students doing more creation in it. I have fifth graders. I think even younger kids can use it. I'm curious of those of you watching right now, and then anyone, I'm not sure if people are going to be able to catch this as a replay or not. I know we're going to record it and share it, but if anybody later on stumbles on this, I would love to know, are you using Google Classroom still, or has everybody migrated over to Canvas? Like when we work with kids online, what spaces are we meeting them in? So I'm just curious about that because that will also kind of guide where we go with some of the conversation that we have today. So as I share today, all things Canva, please do put questions in the chat and I will come back and I will address them as we go. I do have some built-in times. So I'm starting to see some people sharing which learning management system. So it looks like a bit of Canvas. All right. Well, let's just take a look at what my goals are for this session. So let me just switch back over here for a moment. It's a little bit, sometimes a little bit clunky as I navigate around, so just bear with me there. But our agenda. So we're going to talk about what Canva is for anyone who's brand new and being like, okay, I haven't even used it yet, let alone use it with my kids. So slow down, Heather, take it back a step. You got it. I will take it back a step for those who need me to. So we'll talk about what Canva is, how you get yourself signed up for it if you haven't already, so you can make sure you take advantage of all the greatness that's there. We're going to look at templates, the design elements, publishing features, some examples, and then I've got built-in time for Q&As. You've got time built in to play around in the system with it, and we're going to walk through setting up a class, managing a class, talk about teacher uses and student uses and do some brainstorming together and wrap it up with more Q&A at the end and getting signed in for your credit. So let me share with you a link to my presentation. Okay, so I'm going to be covering the things. We're going to be doing the things that are on the agenda, and through the presentation that you can get at bit.ly/NCBOLD Canva 1. And let me go put that in the comments for you as well to make it a little easier. bit.ly NCBOLD Canva 1. So those of you that like to have the presentation ahead of time can go and grab it right now. And you can kind of follow along where we're at, but I'm not going to be presenting the presentation up here and reading from it. I'm going to be sharing my Canva screen and walking through all the different kinds of features that I mentioned over in the agenda, right? All that stuff. So that's my goal for you for today. I want to talk about all of those kinds of things and lots of nifty little pieces embedded within. All right. So we've got kids using Google Classroom and Seesaw, and we have people in Canvas. So the good news is Canva works with all of those things. Okay. So before I go over to my Canva, I just want to make sure that I am on track. Okay. And I'm looking, of course, you know how this is, like multiple screens for everything right now, of course, right? So what is Canva? Let's start there. And if you're trying to follow along in the slide deck, if you've opened it up and you want to follow along, this is already information on slide 5. Okay. So Canva itself is a design platform. So think of it like wrapping your Adobe publisher into your Microsoft publisher, into your Google Slides, into Google Draw and Word. Just think of it as a whole big mashup of all of the tools you've used before. All right. It is a huge mashup of features. And the whole point of it is to be able to design a variety of things for any number of uses. Pretty much the sky's the limit. Whatever you can think of, whatever your students can think of, you could probably create it. All right. Now, the neat thing for educators is that we can get all the premium stuff completely free as long as we sign up as an educator. So that means tons of stock photos and images, preset videos and backgrounds. It means we can get music royalty free to be using. Now, a caveat, let me just say this out there right now. If you are a teacherpreneur, you cannot be using your free educator account to create things and use all the premium free things for teachers to turn around and sell it. That's a no-no. That's a copyright issue. If you're going to be turning around and selling anything you're creating, then you have got to get a separate account and pay for the pro version. All right, that's only right. Okay, I think you're all with me on that. But as long as it's just for your classroom use, then you can get access to all the things and use them for your class. So we can create worksheets, calendars, presentations. We can collaborate with other teachers and other students, much like we do in Google. So it's really, really cool. All right. Then how about we dig in? How about we get signed up? Tell me, throw me a heart or a thumbs up in the comments if you already at least have a Canva account. And if it's a premium, if you've already got your Educator Pro premium account set up, give me a star or something. If you can throw me some of those things in the chat, in the comments, or type it out if you aren't on a device where you can drop a fun little emoji. Give it a second to start seeing some of that. Grab a sip of water. Okay, not seeing anything. I'm hoping. So if that means that we've not set up our Canva, okay, let me find where I minimized my Canva to, because I've lost it somehow. Let me find that window. Aha. Okay, and I want to share my Canva window with you. There we go. All right. And I also want to take off all the agenda things for the moment because we know what we're doing. So I may bring that agenda back up from time to time just as a reminder to myself to make sure I don't miss anything. But here is our initial Canva screen. So if you've not created your account, you're going to go to canva.com and you're going to need to sign up. And you want to use your, preferably you want to use your school email to sign up so that you can sign in as an educator. All right. So let's see. I'm already signed in and I already have my educator account. And because I've done that, I have these teams of classrooms down here. Okay. Let me check my comments. I see 4 comments. All right, I got some thumbs up. Not sure, Angela, if it's premium or not. That's okay. And Christine, yours is not an educator account yet. That's okay. All right. Tamisha, hi. I'm not sure how to read that emoji for but okay. And Sonia, yeah, elbow bump. All right. Woohoo. Okay. So if you're not sure if you have the educator account, let me think for a second. I did all sorts of prep work ahead of time, and it's so hard to do some of these sessions because you need your account already set. And I've had mine for a while, so you always have to stop and think back to where you go to make the changes and things. But you can kind of check some of your settings over here. If you're not a pro account, you can go to your settings gear, and you can kind of look around and should be able to see if your account is or is not pro already. But one of the things that is probably the easiest way to go about it, let me think before I speak. There should be under features or pricing. Plans. Yeah. So up here, now it says plans, right? And so under the plans, you want to scroll down and find the education and nonprofit accounts, the Canva for educators. And you just want to click through to that and click the purple sign up now button. So again, it's under plans. And then you can go straight to education, and you do the sign up now. So even if you already have an account, you can use that sign up now feature to activate it as an education account. It'll take 24 to 48 hours for them to verify your email address as a public school teacher. It can take up to 24 to 48 hours, let me put it that way. But in the meantime, they'll open up all the free stuff so that you can play around with it, I think. If they don't, then you can at least use all of the free stuff as you start to learn your way around. And then it'll just, once it's approved, it'll open up all the other things. Okay. All right. So Angela, I'm making it an educator account again, because I'm not sure. I just looked over. So I may have already covered it for you, but changing it to that educator account, go to plans once you're logged in, try even logging out maybe, and go to canva.com and look at the plans and go to education, and then hit the purple button and do the sign up process there with your school email account. Okay. All right. Do I need to pause? Angela found it. Yay. Jeanette wasn't, but it verified immediately. Wonderful. Yay. We're making progress already. So excited. Awesome. All right. Let me see if I can get back to my home. I'm going to have to log back in because I logged out. Okay. So when you first log in, and if I'm moving too fast or I need to repeat something, put it in the comments. I will look over eventually. I will see it and I will come back to it. All right. So when we first get in, if you've used Canva before, anything you've created should be showing up in your recent designs, all right here. And if you haven't used it before, then that area is going to be empty, of course. Okay. Now, these are not all of the things I've ever made. To see everything I've made, there's this button on the right for see all. Okay. And so that's what I would click. And I want to just click over for 1 second and make sure that I am on point with my agenda. So we've gotten ourselves signed up. We want to start looking at some template types of things and so on. Okay. Very good. All right. So moving forward, if you're following the slide deck at all, or that's fine, because I know not everybody likes to play around in the environment. I know we have different kinds of learners. Some people are going to jump into Canva and they're just going to play around with all the things as I'm talking about them. That's cool. You might even end up going down a rabbit hole and have to come back and rewatch the video. You will be able to rewatch the video right here. It's going to remain right here for you. So you can come back and watch it as many times as you want to and pause and rewatch. No worries. But what we want to do is to dig in and look at some of the kinds of templates. There are within Canva that are going to apply to what we want to do for our classrooms. So let me go back to sharing. Oh, huh. I ended up doing an extra step that I didn't need to there, but it's all good. Okay, let's see. There we are. All right, so here's my main screen, and I'm going to remove that little bubble banner for my presentation because I think that everybody has that by now, and I don't want it to get in the way. Okay, so templates. Up here, along the main toolbar at the top toolbar, there is a templates menu. And underneath the templates menu, there are all the different classifications under education that are most likely your go-tos. Now, they're not your only thing because under personal, you'll see invitations, and I've used that. You can make postcards to send to your students. I even used the t-shirt design one because we designed some t-shirts for our 5th grade team of teachers. And so what the t-shirt one does is it gives you like this t-shirt outline, and you can lay out the different things that you want on it. So that was pretty cool. It's got the weekly schedule planner. So there are a bunch of different things. You might be working on items for a presentation. And so you can find that under the business section. So there's all sorts of things. If you're wanting to make a video tutorial for students, you see that under the trending category. So don't think you have to just narrow in and only use education templates, but they've kind of categorized them all for you. Okay. So lots and lots of templates already pre-built in. And when I say lots and lots of templates, let me kind of go into the class schedule one just for an example. So if I choose class schedule, it's going to go to a screen and show me 43 different templates that I can drill down and pick from various themes. So you can see like they have some itemized out as being for the younger students and some for older students, themed by tropical and color, just a variety of things. You can pick from different styles of schedules and color themes. So if you have a color theme for your classroom or something, you can pick that too. Okay. So I actually used this one that comes up first this year. I used the Mr. Allen's class schedule look. I liked it. It spoke to me. And so I would use that weekly with my students. And I can show you what that looked like in a minute. I'm going to go ahead and just pick that one again to show you what happens when you choose a template. It comes up and you can kind of see a little bigger view of it, and it tells you what size it's going to be built for. So it's landscape. By default, it's an 11 by 8.5 inch, and then you can click to customize it and make it your own. So this is one way to just jumpstart a design from a template. It's not the only way. But once you're inside an actual design, you're going to see all different design elements over here on the left. And one area is actually labeled elements. But I think of all those things on the left as elements. I see the upload, so I can add my own features. There are photos to choose from. I can add text. I can add audio, backgrounds. Now, you probably don't have the Bitmoji button. Let's come back to that in a couple of minutes. People are probably looking at that going, ooh, Bitmoji. Wait, I don't have Bitmoji. I know Bitmojis were all the rage last year, and they can be integrated now. So I'll show you that before we go. And if you click on the more, then you're going to see all kinds of other things that can be integrated. And Bitmoji probably will show up there for you. It doesn't. Oh, yeah, it does show for me, even though I already have it. It's right there, bottom corner. So you can integrate your Bitmoji right there. So jumping ahead a little bit of myself, but sometimes that happens. So if you want to be able to integrate emojis or QR codes, I know a lot of people use those in the classroom. You can integrate with things from your Google Drive. So a lot of really cool opportunities, Jiffies. So very good stuff. Anything I want to change here, I can just click on and edit. So I can say, Dr. Kaiser's class. And I can change text font styles. And you'll see that there's a crown next to some of the fonts. That shows that it's a pro font that most people would have to pay to use. And because we are on the Educator Pro version, we can just use any of them. So I can change the font to absolutely any of the fonts that are there. I would just caution, I mean, I know sometimes we get carried away with the fonts and having fun. Pick something and roll with it. And I'm going to show you how to do something called branding in a little bit that I think will make some of that easier for you. So I'm going to just undo and leave that be in the nice big bold because you want your students to be able to read it. That's one of the goals, obviously. Okay. Tamisha's in and woohoo, Angela has found it. All right, I'm excited. We're going to keep moving forward. So the different design elements, if I wanted to add a different image, I can click on photos and I can search all kinds of things. Let's say that in my class, let's say we're going to have a frog theme. I can type in frog and I can find a frog image. Oh, that one looks fun. I'm going to drop the frog with the book right here and put him at the bottom, just like so. How fun is he? Okay, so you can add all kinds of images. You can change up your backgrounds, change up your text. You can even add audio files, although I don't think this is a place where I would necessarily need an audio file. But there are plenty of other places where we might use audio files, and I can change backgrounds and things. So I don't think this is the kind of design that I would want to animate either. So we'll come back to that. And I want to show you in a little bit about how to do a branding of your class so that you have custom colors and custom fonts that you can just rely on over and over again. Because here's the thing, here's my pro tip, okay? There is so much stuff in Canva, that you can end up spending too much time looking at all the stuff. And so that's not what we want Canva to be. We want it to be a place where we can go, we can create, and we can move on with things. So we can have it looking really good, really sharp, and have it be really beneficial to our students, the parents, and anybody else who might come across our work that we've shared. So I want to share with you some tips on that, and that's going to happen in our branding. So the next step, let's say we had this all the way we wanted. Let's say we had the subject, I'm going to put math there. I'm going to have to add text because this doesn't have text built into it. So I'm going to grab a subheading and drop it there. You'll see that if you've not used Canva before, it almost always uses Open Sans as the default when you hit add a subheading. And I'm just going to type right over the top of it, just like you can do with all sorts of programs. And then I'm going to drag the word math into the subject area. Okay, so I can resize on the sides, and I can resize with the handles on the corners, or I could have changed it by clicking in the font size box and changing it right there. Okay, so plenty of ways, just like with, again, so many programs. So once we have everything we wanted, so we can have a whole month's worth of math assignments for students. Like it could be the homework calendar for the whole month of September or whatever. Now we want to share it. Well, last year, my sharing was simply downloading it and then sharing it in Class Dojo or Canvas or your Google Classroom, or our school used a system called Connexus. That was our learning management system. So you could send it in an email, wherever. I could put it on my Google site for my students to see. It could go wherever if I saved it as an image. Notice when you click on the PNG that you can save it as JPEG, PDF, PDF with print quality. So that's going to be more like if you really wanted to print it out and put it on a bulletin board somewhere, which a lot of us weren't doing last year. And hopefully more people are doing that this coming year in a way, but as everybody starts to go back to school. If you want to save it in a way where when you resize it and things, or like say you wanted to use it in another design program, then you can save it as SVG, which is Sharp Vector Graphics. I always knew that as Scalable Vector Graphics. I'm not sure. I've never seen it as Sharp Vector Graphics anywhere else before, but maybe, I don't know. The idea behind it, though, being that you don't lose image quality when you resize it. You can save it as MP4 video or GIF. Now, the GIF won't have sound, so even if you have sound in the background of this, it wouldn't play. The MP4 video would play the sound. So that's one of the main differences. Also, just the length of it. Right now, we only have one page to this design, so it really doesn't warrant being an MP4, but it might have been used as a GIF if we wanted to put a little bit of animation somewhere. And then, let's see, like, for example, how about if I go back to my elements and if I look for, maybe let me see if there's a dancing frog. Not sure if I'm going to find a dancing frog. No, I'm finding frogs. I'm finding people dancing though. So if you see something with some movement and you added that with movement and saved it as a GIF, then it would play as a GIF wherever you put it, if you put it on a class website or something like that. All right, let me check in on the comments because I have really quickly gone over the general download and of course the different design elements and templates. We have not dug too very deep yet. Are there questions? Let me pause for just a second to make sure I'm not losing anybody. Okay, I'm not seeing anything, but that doesn't mean there isn't because there's a little bit of a delay, I know. So I'm going to show something and then I'll double check that there aren't any questions. So notice when you're saving as a PNG, you can have a transparent background, which works great in reshares or overlays. So that's really awesome. But I wanted to point out also the share button here. Once we get your classrooms set up, if you haven't already, you'll be able to share the design directly with your class within Canva. So that's a really cool feature. And all you have to do is change the setting right here, kind of like you would do on a Google Doc. You can either give them view access or edit access. So if you want students collaborating on a template that you've created, then you can set it to be edited. So that's a nifty feature that's built in. Another thing that I think is often overlooked are the ellipses, the 3 dots over here. There are so many other things we can do with our design. We can present the design. So if you created a lesson, like a short tutorial lesson, maybe on how to find equivalent fractions, and you created multiple pages like a slide deck right here in Canva, you can present it from inside Canva. And I'll show you what that looks like in a second with one of my other documents that I've made in here, my other designs. Notice we can set this as an assignment and we can send it to Google Classroom. If you're a school that uses Microsoft Teams, you can share straight to Microsoft Teams. You can share to parents, and students that are 13 or older can receive it in Remind 101 if you use that app. You can grab a link straight to it, which is something that I've done with some of my examples here in our slide deck that I shared with you. And then there's this really awesome one right here where you can present and record. So I bet we all became pros at things like Screencastify and Screencast-O-Matic, and maybe some of us even used our YouTube channels or just grabbed our phones last year and recorded ourselves on our phones for our students. But we can present and record that presentation right inside of Canva if we wanted to. So that's kind of cool. You'll see there's also all sorts of other features where you can link it right up and you can actually have things printed. Your creations can actually be printed for you. So of course that's a print service. There's going to be fees for that. That's not going to be free stuff. But anyhow, it's kind of cool that you can do all of that, design your work, design your ideas, and print them out. So what if you had a student club or organization and you wanted to have them design their own stickers and sell them for a fundraiser? Totally doable. Totally doable. All right. Let me double check again my comments. We look good in the comments over there. So let's take a look at some examples. Okay. So these are just some things that I already have generated. So I'm going to make sure I'm going to go back to my home. And I'm going to navigate to them from my home page of my design, but I'm going to just point out to you that they are within the slide deck. You will get your own links to these on slide 8 of the slide deck. So the first one is a calendar example. So it's over here in my designs. I'm going to just pull that up for you. And what I did was created, I clicked on the 3 ellipses, the 3 dots ellipses button, and I did share a link. And I clicked on share a link and I copied it and I put that link as a hyperlink in the slide deck, just to give you a little of the background on how I did that, so that that's how you could do it too. If you wanted to share a slide deck with students that you made in Google Slides and link to things that you've created in your Canva, you can totally do that. So if you wanted to create a lesson plan, there's a template for that. Here's an example template. And if you don't teach every subject, you can just change that out, obviously. You could change it to class periods or whatever you needed to do to make it fit for your needs. And then you'd be able to share this with your administrators or your instructional coaches or your grade level team or your subject area team. And so you can see that when I'm in my own design mode and I have templates selected at the top, there's all these different templates showing up, different weekly calendars, daily calendars, monthly calendars, photo calendars. So I could have picked from absolutely any of these designs, and then I can change them up to be the way I want them. So if I don't like the color, if green doesn't fit with my color scheme, I can click on that and I can just click up here and I can change the color. All right, the colors are now going to pop up in this window in the palette, and I can pick from any of the colors. It's always going to show you the colors that are already part of the document, which is kind of cool. So if I wanted to keep it with the document colors but change it up, I could go with that, and I could almost make it kind of like a watermelon sort of theme, and I could alternate. Right? So lots of options, and I promise you I'm only doing things at this moment like super randomly. I'm not putting any thought into what I'm doing. I'm just trying to show you some of the various things that can be done, so that when I give you time to play in a couple of minutes, you'll have some idea of what you want to be playing with. So be thinking what you want to play with, because it's almost time for you to get to play. All right. Another example that I have for you is a newsletter, and I actually have 2 different versions that I created. So I'm going to close this one, and I'm going to click on my See All so that I can go to all of the different things I've created. And I've got a couple different newsletters. I actually had 3 that I was looking at. Let me look first at the one that I did for primary grades. Now, when you click on it, your view is not going to be a designer view. So you're not going to be able to change this up because I didn't share it in a way where you could make changes to it, but I'm showing it to you in my personal design mode. Okay, if that makes sense. And if it doesn't make sense, please say so. So there's all these cool little elements on here that have been added. And if I wanted to reorder any of them, I can click and drag and move them around and change them up. So let's just say that I wanted this image that looks like the photo of this child to be on top of the other one, if I wanted to bring it forward a little bit. So hopefully it's already grouped. Hopefully all those objects are already grouped together, but I'm going to go to position and bring it forward. I don't want it all the way on the front because I don't want it to come in front of the camera. But notice I clicked 2 times and now it's on top of the bottom one. Did you see that change? Let me undo for a minute so you can see what I'm talking about. I'm talking about right here where the corner of the bottom photograph, if you will, Polaroid photograph, overlaps the top one, right here at the corner of the camera, okay? And what I'm doing is clicking on the top image, going to position, and bringing it forward, clicking 2 times on that to bring it so it comes over the top of the bottom photograph, but still behind the camera. Okay, so you can rearrange and realign objects all over the page that way. And like I said too, I think that all of this is grouped together. And so one of the other things that you sometimes want to do is to rearrange objects as a whole group. Like, so when I move, oh, they're not grouped together. Notice that when I move that frame, the frame is together, but the image of the student is not. So if I want that stuff to move together, I'm going to want to group those. I'm going to hit the undo so that those are in the right position. So I'm going to press my shift key and click on, ooh, I'm not sure if I can get the person. Okay, I'm having trouble getting it. Let's see if I can get the photograph. Okay, so I'm not sure how they've done that one, and I'd have to play with it a little more. So I'm not going to experiment with that one anymore. Let's group. Let me see if I can group the reminder information. That'll work better. Okay, let's do that. I'm going to group all the things on this little spiral notepad. So I want to have the notepad and the text boxes that are on top of it stay together. So I have held my shift key down on the keyboard while clicking on all 3 pieces. I'm going to click the ellipses to get more, and I'm going to group them together. Okay, so a lot of the things inside Canva are going to work similarly to all the different software programs you're already familiar with in Google Slides and Microsoft PowerPoint, all kinds of places. So we're grouping. Now when I move that, it all stays together no matter where I put it. Before then, they would have moved separately. Okay, let's see. No new questions. Let's look at another newsletter very quickly. Let's look at an upper grades newsletter. Let me make sure I show you the one that I meant to share. It's this one. Yeah. Okay. So this one, just the layout's a little bit different. It's a little bit more mature, less cutesy, a little more to the point. And I did not go to the second page. I don't even remember for sure that there was a second page to the other newsletter, but here you can see the first example of having multiple pages. So if I was to download this for sharing, I would probably download this one as a PDF, probably a standard PDF, unless I was going to print it and send it home. And that way all the pages would go together. So I can select which pages I want to download, so just like I would do when I'm printing something. I can choose how many pages to print. But if I want this to be one PDF document that just scrolls through, then I would just download it all the pages as a PDF and hit download. And again, you can be changing up all the different elements. None of this has to stay the same. It's just a template to get you started from. Okay. And then the final sample thing that I had for you is just the digital badging, right? So digital badging became a really hot trend. See if I can get mine. So the badge that I was going to share is just my NCBOLD badge. And you have a template inside Google Slides that was shared out, I think, with all the participants. I went ahead and took all the little pieces of that and created it in Slides, but then I brought in my badge that I made in Slides so that I could have a more fun background here in Canva. So I cheated that part and got this fun little seaside summary background added to it. Here's my uploads over here. And so you can see when I click on uploads, you can upload media from your device or your drive and other things that you can connect, obviously. And so these are all different things I have uploaded. I've uploaded different Bitmojis and things over time, and templates for things, different images that I want to be able to use for the school for different things that I'm creating. Okay, let's see. I want to stop and find out. I know I've been all over the place. What are the questions so far? Let me just sort of switch my screen here a little bit. Okay, what are the questions so far? All right. If any, what are you going to play with? I want you to take time. I'm going to answer questions, and I want you to take time and actually play in the template area and work on making something. Play around with some of the text, play around with some of the photos and backgrounds. And I'm going to go deeper into some of the animation and brand building and stuff when we come back together. So I really want to give time to just play around and ask questions. So let's make good use of that time if we can. We've got a little less. We're a little over halfway into the session. So you do not have to. Okay, so Christine, we're gonna get to that. All right, let me pull that question up. Let me show that one. All right, Christine wants to know, do you have to create a classroom in Canva, or can you just assign from Canva to Google Classroom? So when you connect your Google Classroom, it's going to create a classroom in Canva, if that makes sense, Christine. So yes, you can assign straight from Canva to your Google Classroom, but it's going to create that classroom environment, if you will, inside of Canva. Okay. Hope that answers that question. All right. So let's take at least 5 minutes. I mean, that's not very much. Let's take at least 5 minutes for you to be playing around in Canva. That's going to leave kind of like some dead airspace. So what I'll probably do is I'll probably mute myself and be quiet so that you can concentrate and play. But for people who don't want to play and they want to see some more things, I won't talk through it, but I'll play around in my Canva at the same time. And you can throw more questions in the comments as you see me do things if you have questions. All right. So for about 5 minutes, it's going to be quiet, but I want you to play. Okay. Okay. and I will play too. Okay, how we doing? Are we playing with some things? What are we playing with? What everybody decide to play with? I think you saw, you probably, if you were watching me, if you weren't doing your own playing, then you saw me playing with a template for Bitmoji classrooms because they were all the rage and I'm still going to be online. So, of course, I got to update a Bitmoji classroom, right? Angela's working with flyers. Okay. And Christine's getting her accounts all set up, like Google Drive getting added to it and things. Perfect. Excellent. Good ideas. And then remember that in the more area, right, you can add like I think, who was it? Christine? Hold on. Yeah, like Christine was doing, you can be adding your let me find it here. You can be adding different apps. So under this more category, that's what Christine was saying. She added her Google Drive connection, and you can add a Bitmoji connection if you have it and if you're into that. I know so many people were. So that's what I was playing with. I actually had my Bitmoji toolbar open and I had searched for Bitmoji templates. So up in the templates category, you can search Bitmoji and it's going to find all kinds of Bitmoji classrooms and things that have already been created and that you can just change up a little bit. The one I picked even had a second page to it where I could pull different little fun elements that had already been saved to be able to use, which is a huge time saver because I know some of us went down that rabbit hole of finding all the images to make our scenes last year, right? So it's pretty fun that Canva lets us do all of that right in here. So yay for that. What else? Newsletters. Jeanette was working on newsletters. Yeah, because back to school's coming and we're probably going to all have classroom newsletters at least a couple times during the year. We probably all send something home. So yay for that. All right. So it sounds like we were definitely starting to explore some more of the things we can do in Canva. I know that wasn't a ton of time to play around in it, but I do want to make sure that I dig a little deeper for the people who are ready for it, especially. So I want to go into the setting up of a class, managing your class, and I want to do some brainstorming for uses with our class. And I want to show you in all of that how to do that branding thing that we were talking about that I've alluded to a few different times. Okay, so let's adding you to my stream. Okay, I have no idea. It says I stayed live the whole time. So if it went, if you heard me go, oh, and then I have no idea what the screen did, but I think I'm back. I would love for someone to comment and tell me everything is okay because I lost like all of the other Chrome things. I quickly got the StreamYard back up and I'm talking to you and I still see 5 people watching, I think. So I have to reopen my Canva. Bear with me. I apologize. Not sure why that happened. Okay. Oh, I need to make sure I'm in my educator account for that. Okay. Whew. Thank you, Angela. I'm so sorry for that, you guys. You got to love technology, right? Okay. We were going to switch over and look at the classroom side of Canva. Okay. And so let me try to get everything sharing again. My screen is being really kind of glitchy right now. So my fingers are crossed that I'm going to be able to finish this up and wrap this up with you in the next 20 minutes without too much issue. Fingers crossed right now. Okay. I am going to switch to this. Yeah, so Jeanette, if you don't already have Bitmojis, you do have to sign up through Snapchat to get Bitmoji. Yes. And honestly, that's the only thing I do with Snapchat. I don't use. So yeah, so you guys, Jeanette had asked to add Bitmoji, we need to create a Snapchat account. Yes. The short answer is yes to that. And that's the only thing I use it for. I don't use Snapchat for anything else. I only created it so that I could have Bitmojis. So unfortunately, that is the thing. You must have signed up for it. Yeah, if you have Bitmoji, you must have signed up with Snapchat at some point to get it. So then the trick is remembering how to log back in so that you can get it connected through Canva. So that's, and if you already did it at one point, you'll see right here. Nope, that's my emoji. Oh, I don't have it added. I forgot. On this account, I don't have it added. I have it on this account right here. So I'm on 2 different accounts today doing this. I have Bitmoji added as a Chrome extension also. And so you don't have to add it to your, that's right. It's right here on my Chrome toolbar. You don't have to add it to the Canva tool if you can just click on your Chrome extension and search from there and copy and paste from there. So here was one that I'd used recently. I can right click on it and copy the image, and then I can paste that image directly into Canva. Okay, so associating Bitmoji with Canva is optional, obviously, but yeah, those are 2 ways to do it. Okay, I think I'm back on track now, and I was getting ready to show you how we can set it up with our class, and I just really want to swap. Everything kind of got swapped out on my screen, so I want to swap around the direction of things. All right, so as an educator, so once your account is switched over to an educator account, you're going to have classwork over here. You'll also see the brand kit, the content planner, and then underneath everything, you'll have your class. So class work is specifically where your students have submitted work to you. Even if they're using Google Classroom, as they submit work to you that was assigned in Canva, it's supposed to show up here. So I don't have anything to review right now. And I really didn't use this in this way with students last year. So part of what I'm telling you is by my understanding and my expectation for how it will work this year. When students turn things into me through Canva, it's supposed to appear here, and then I'm supposed to be able to do my review and offer my feedback. Okay. So prepping all of that, you can create designs up in the main area, like where we've been, and then you can just make them viewable by the class. So for example, again, if I wanted the students to be able, let's say I made this word search activity that's right here in the center of the screen. I can click the ellipses and I can click share. and I can turn on and make it viewable for students in my class. And once I do that, it will show up down here in Heather Kaiser's class. I had another little worksheet I had made for math called Fun with Factors. I used a template, totally just grabbed it, didn't make any changes. You can see this one when I click the ellipses and click the share button, it's already viewable. So it was already showing. Okay. When I'm here, I can also copy a link that lets them either edit or view, or you know how in Google Classroom, we set it up so that they make their own copy of something and use it? That's what this is for, the use as template. So it gives you a sharing link to share with students somewhere else, like in Canvas. You could share just the link to it, and they can sign into their Canva account that, you know, when we set up our class, the students will all have a Canva account. So you could legit just link to it from within Canvas, and it would open up in their Canva. Whew, it's hard. Canva, Canvas. It's so tricky. So you can put the Canva link inside Canvas, and it will open up for students in their Canva account as a template, as their own copy that they can change and submit to you. So that's all good stuff. All right. So if you click on your class down there, there's probably going to be some setup that it asks you to do. You can see here, I can create and change and make my own banner. I can add members to it from up here. It's probably going to have you do some naming and things. I can edit the name of my class right here already. So if you get a little dialogue prompt box because you haven't created your class before, don't be surprised. Or if it just comes up kind of blank and empty with this generic background template that you can be changing, that's no surprise either. You could get any of those kinds of things. Do notice that mine has two designs already here that students can view, the factors one and the word search that I told you about. And I can rename the word search one right here. I just clicked on it, and it's going to let me edit it and give it a name, and it's going to rename it here, and it's going to rename it up in my designs where I was a few minutes ago. So all of it, it's just like Google Drive sharing in a way. You know, the document exists in your main design space, and then it's shared over here in your classroom. Okay. Inside here, so all of your different designs are going to show here. And if you want to work right inside your class, you can create your design right here. Here's the weird thing, though. I can tell you, I would have expected, and like raise your hand, drop a comment or something. I would expect that if I create a design here and I'm inside Heather Kaiser's class, I would expect it to populate and share automatically and show up with my students, right? Wouldn't you expect that? Okay, I'm telling you, it didn't work that way. It didn't work that way. So it would be nice if they would fix it and it would work that way, because that's what makes sense, at least to me. I don't know if it makes sense to you, but that's what makes sense to me. But when I created the factors one, I created it here, but it didn't populate here. I had to go back to my designs and find it and share it, which seems really weird. So just be forewarned about that. That's a pro tip for you. I've already made that mistake and found that. Also, I expected that if I made a folder here, if I clicked create folder, that it would automatically be a folder that was shared here. No, that's not how that worked either. Up here, you see where it says all folders? When I made the folder, it went into the all folders area, and I had to share it. See, they're right there. The math. When I click the ellipses and I click share, you'll see that it is shared with the class. That part's turned on, but it didn't do that by default. I had to come back here and do it, which to me is crazy. So that part's a little bit clunky, if you ask me, but anyway, is what it is. And forewarned is forearmed, right? So templates, we can create templates and put them here for student use. So if you wanted to create a template that students can use to create stickers or I don't know, whatever. You can put that here. I don't know. I'm not going to get into the apps part because this is really, I think, for definitely more advanced session, because it's not just connecting like the Bitmoji app. This is talking about like really designing their own apps and stuff through Canva to integrate with Canva. So that's like way beyond where we are today. The people and the groups is probably where you're going to want to start though. So how do I get my kids into my class? So the class automatically was created for me when I signed up as an educator. Woohoo! But now how do I connect the kids? Well, here, remember that all kinds of online things require parental approval if the student is under 13. Okay, so make sure that you've done whatever it is that your district requires you to do so that you can share this. All right. Yeah. So Christine, that's a good point. I'm looking across. The feature, maybe it helps when you want to work ahead of your students, have items prepped before you want to share it with them. Sure, absolutely. Prep it, put it all up in your all designs area, and then share it when you're ready. Make it viewable when you're ready for it to be viewable, and put it in a specific folder. Yeah, that makes good sense. But it would be nice to have that option though, right? Make it viewable or not. I don't know. Anyway, that's a good point though. Makes sense. That might be what they were thinking. Okay, so how do I share and get the kids inside my Canva classroom? You can do a direct link. I've already clicked on that, so it's showing, but if you've not before, there'll be a button right here where you can click, and it's going to give you a link token that you can share in email or through Remind 101, or you can put it right straight in your Google Classroom. You could probably turn this into a shorter link if you wanted to by putting it in Bitly yourself and making it a short link where kids can then just type it in easier and join on their own. So this link is going to let the student join for themselves. So upper elementary, middle school, high school kids for sure can do the join process on their own. If you have a Google Classroom set up already, you can import that Google Classroom right straight in. So it'll pick up all their information. It will integrate with your Google Classroom, and you'll be able to push your assignments out to Google Classroom from right here, whatever you've designed inside Canva. If you want to do it one by one with student email addresses, you can do that. There's room for 5 email addresses, and then you just click add another, add another, add another. I used this because I wanted to demonstrate a little bit today about how this looks, and I just wanted to put my daughter in for right now. So my only student right now is my daughter's email address. And so I have one student in my class. Okay. And that is it. So setting up a classroom and adding students, not super difficult, not super tricky, very doable. What are some things that we're already thinking about being able to do as teachers, even beyond what we've already seen in the templates? I want to do a little bit of, I want to make sure we're doing some collaboration today and some brainstorming together. And I need to double check. Oh my gosh, it's almost time to wrap up with final questions and everything. I'm like 6 minutes from closing, aren't we? Holy cow. Okay, all right, let me see what I want to show you. I want to make sure I show you the things I want to share. I really, really want to show you how to do your brand kit. So I'm going to do that super, super quick. And then I'm going to bring up the brainstorming tool. In your brand kit, all right, I'm going to go super fast, so you're probably going to have to come back to this and watch it again and pause it. Brand logo. I'm going to use my Rising Phoenix picture. I've already got it queued up in my downloads. Okay, this is our school mascot, so I'm going to use it as my logo. That way I can grab it really fast and use it in things with my students whenever I want to. Okay. My palette, my color palette, I want to use the colors that are in our school website. So I already pulled up my school website over here. And I have a color picker add-on that is a Chrome extension. And I'm going to click that color picker and choose pick color from page. Okay. And then you just point and you click on the page wherever the color is that you want to use. So if I want to use, where's that? There we go, like the blue color that's a part of our font here. I click that, and then when I come back over to my brand kit in Canva, I click the plus sign and change the hex code by pasting in what was just copied from the color picker. Okay, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to add another color. I'm going to go back to my school website, and I'm going to click my color picker. I'm going to pick from the page, and I'm going to get this yellow color. And I'm going to put that in my brand, pasting it in. I'm going to get one more color. I want this orange that is right here. So I'm going to grab my color picker, pick from page. There we go. Okay, so I've got 3 colors in my brand. I actually want more than 3, but I'm just going to do that because of time, sake of time. There's my brand color palette. So now when I'm in a template, those brand colors are going to pop up when I'm designing. And you can do the same thing with brand fonts. I'm not going to take time to do it right now, but you can have a specific font always be your go-to heading, a specific font always be your go-to subheading, and a specific font be your body style. That way, when you're over here let's say I'm back in this lesson plan design. Now, when I'm in here and I'm looking at the different colors for something, as soon as it comes up. Okay, so if I'm looking at colors now for this area, okay, and I click the color and I want to change the color. Now it's this untitled palette because I didn't name it, but it's my classroom color scheme. It's my school color scheme. And so if I want to go with my school color scheme instead, I can change each one of these areas to match up to my different color scheme. Okay. And when I change text, the same thing would happen over here. If I go to the text here in the heading and subheading and the body, those are going to start defaulting to whatever I chose. And of course, I didn't choose something different, but if I had changed it, that would be the new default. Anytime I clicked add heading, it would be the font I had chosen. So I don't have to set it up every single time. Huge, huge, huge time saver. Huge time saver. Okay. Real fast. We're closing out. I only have 2 minutes left. I want to share with you where we can do a little brainstorming and you can look back at it. I can share it out later. I wish that I didn't have that crash in the middle because I think we would have had time for it. But if you go to menti.com, you're going to be able to log in. I'm going to give you the code here in a second, as soon as I can get it up. There we go. And I just would love to know some ways you envision using Canva as a teacher. And then I'm going to switch this in a moment and ask ways you see students could use it. So if you can hang in with me just a minute, and while you're doing that, I'm going to go make sure that the QR code and stuff is ready for you so that you can get your credit. Okay? So there we go. I cannot believe how fast 80 minutes went, y'all. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, so ways that we can use Canva as teachers. Put some ideas in there. Love it. Infographics, posters, certificates. Yes, yes, yes. Yes. And I would love to get even more than that, but and I wanted to get the student ones, but I really want to respect your time. And I know some of you are probably trying to get to other sessions and you're going to need that 10-minute break in between. So let's look back over at my other screen. And if you are in the presentation, oh, great ideas. Social media posts, creative designs in class. Yes, great ideas. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you. Love it. Parent newsletters. Wonderful ideas. Okay, so let me change which screen I'm going to share with you because I want to make sure you can get your credits and that you also know how to be connected with me. So let me go to this. And here's what we're going to have to do. I'm going to do it right here with you. I have to refresh because I have revealed at the end of the presentation the QR code. So make sure you refresh your screen, take out your phones if you have them, and get the app open. Or at least make sure that you have saved your link to the presentation. So here again is how you can get to the presentation. And I don't know why mine's showing a blank screen right now. Loading, loading, loading. Okay, and I'm going to click through to the end. Okay, and so on the second to last slide, you've got the code to scan. And if you don't see that code, if you see a green box over it, you've got to refresh the screen, okay? But that's got all of your directions for getting your credit for the session. I thank you so much for being here for my session. I hope that you got some things out of it. I know it was a crash course. I hope you have fun playing with it. And if you have questions, please connect with me on Twitter. I'm at TechnoTeacher. I am at the Teched Out, well, not the word the, but Teched Out Teacher on Instagram, or you can email me at Heather@Kaiser Tech Unlimited. So lots of ways for us to connect. And of course, we'd love for you to fill out our feedback form on this session. So thanks again for being here. I know I've gone over in time, so I'm not going to keep you any longer. Enjoy the rest of NCBOLD and reach out to me if you need help with anything Canva. Bye.